It's been a while since I've reviewed a TV show, but it's fall time, which means it's getting too cold for people to be outside at night, and all the new shows are here to be there. Tonight premieres Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'll probably have a review on that tomorrow. But for today, let's talk about the most disappointing show since Teen Titans Go. Cue title theme. Before we go any further, I want to make this clear that I have no problem with source material changes. It has to happen to update, and it has to happen to allow things to make sense. Comic book movies need this. A lot of times films based on books need this. But there does reach a point. And that point is with Sleepy Frickin' Hollow. Now, for those of you who don't know, I do these videos in my home in New York, Rockland County, which is below New York City, or as people in New York City call us, the Boonies. And the thing is that I know where Sleepy Hollow is. It is in the village of North Tarrytown. Nice little place, cute, always gets into the Halloween spirit because of the legend of the Headless Horseman. And because of this, when you see things about Sleepy Hollow on TV, you're okay with things getting done wrong or changed, and you accept it. But this goes beyond changes. Essentially, the plot to Sleepy Hollow is the Headless Horseman has risen again and appears to be out to find the other, and apparently one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They will bring the end of the world, and there's only one man who can stand against them. Ichabod Crane! That's right, the weirdest name in American literature is back, and he's ready to save the world. He died in 1770-something or other, but did not die. Lived on, stuck in, I guess, cryo-sleep. Apparently this guy's con. Woke up in the year 2013 and has to team up with a black lady cop. Trust me, they do plenty of weird references about that in the pilot. To stop the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, starting off with our Headless Horseman. That's right, Ichabod Crane's past is he was a school teacher. But that's all you need to know, so I'm just going to take a nap and end the video here. Torben! What was that? It's me, Batman! Batman, what are you doing here? You got it wrong. But what do you mean? That's Ichabod Crane's origins. The book was written by Washington Irving, and he wrote the story of how Ichabod Crane came to be a school teacher in Sleepy Hollow. And one night, when he was hitting on the girl Katrina Von Tassel, the Von Tassels was a big family here in Rockland for a good 100 years or so, the jerk Brom Bones, who also was into Katrina, told the story of the Headless Horseman, a Hessian, which were German mercenaries during the Revolution, who more often than not sided with the British, who was beheaded during the battle, and the horseman comes off, rides with a pumpkin head, and chops people to death. Then it finds Crane, chases him on a horse named Gunpowder, throws the pumpkin, and Crane is never heard from again. There. Did you go somewhere? I never leave! Even when the actors abandon me. Even when the directors let their egos get ahead of them. There's always room for Batman. But why'd you wait so long to respond? At least I didn't wait 8 years to respond. Fair enough. But this show is different. How is it different? That's the source material. Ha! Source material, my rubber-padded ass. But it's a great American novel. You can't just get rid of it like that. Watch then. In this version, Ichabod Crane was a soldier during the Revolution. He sided with Washington and fought along with him. But the story takes place after the Revolution. Not in this version. In this version, Crane was a soldier hired by Washington to look into witchcraft. One day, during a battle, he fought a German soldier, Hessian, and chopped his head off. At some point later that has not been revealed yet, He fell into a hole and was left there for 200 years before waking up. But that makes no sense! Who cares? It's Fox! But you can't change that much. I mean, sure you could change like the Brom Bones part. You can change Crane's description. But that's the whole story. They just completely butchered it. Who cares? Critics are loving it. But it's wrong. It's not historically accurate. The series just makes no sense. Who cares? It's got Satan. But it's terrible. The CGI is awful. True, but it's got the balls to stand up on its own 2 feet and fight for what it thinks is right. Right, it's just a generic horror show that's trying to give a plot. Exactly! Just like Dark Knight Rises, random acts trying to be one thing. But you can't make changes like that. This is a great story that's been changed and ruined and destroyed time and time again. Why not be the first thing to give it the respect it deserves? Like Fox has respect. I don't know. I mean, this show's awful. The acting, I'll give it that. The acting is okay. The guy playing Ichabod Crane remains consistent. The girl plays a fairly intelligent character. And from there, everyone else is just getting who's hacked to death this turn. You see all your typical fantasy world meets real world cliches, like people thinking Crane is crazy. You see him interacting with the world around him and being scared by it. You get all that, but it's just apart from that, it's just so plain generic. It's guys stopping evil. I mean, you had that show earlier this year, The Following, with Kevin Bacon, which was stupid. It was ridiculous, but it was fun. Like, every time someone died, you laughed. It was silly, even though it was trying to be serious. This is serious, but not being anything. None of it's funny, and it's all predictable and cliche. Honestly, the plot's not very interesting. I don't see how this will get turned on to another season. Once again, taking the example of The Following, you can do more with the cult concept. Here you can't do anything. He's either going to stop the Horseman and he never rises again, or the show's only meant to be one season, or the Headless Horseman is just going to rise again at the beginning of every season and go back down again. I just don't see how this can work. And apart from that, it's just bad writing. Like I said, it's just, there's no way around it, and it's just insulting the history. The Story of Sleepy Hollow is such a good book. I recommend you all read it. And it's just, why does it keep getting butchered? From that awful Johnny Depp movie to all the TV movies to all the ridiculous cameos. Why can't we get the story of Sleepy Hollow? I mean, for God's sakes, it doesn't even look like Terrytown. I mean, for God's sakes, this is just so unbearable. And the CGI is cheap and looks terrible. And I will admit the makeup is kind of cool. I gotta give this what it is, just a 3 out of 10 on the horror action TV show scale. I don't even know what this counts as. I mean, God, if you like it, comment below and give some reasons. Read the book. I mean, obviously it's network television, and for the most part network television is terrible. But this just goes beyond that. It's just infuriating. I checked out the pilot, and you always got to give the pilot a break. I checked out last week's episode, and it was just plain bad. It's just so cliche and just so stupid and so predictable. And it just plays with history. Why can't I want accuracy. Subscribe below to get my accurate opinions about how mad I am.